Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Trashy Treasures. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to use acrylic paint and stencils to make mixed media background pages. Here are just some examples that I've made in the last few months. Today I'm going to show you how to do the first 2 layers. Because these are multiple layers. Okay. All right. So let me get these. The first step is I take blank paper. It can be any thickness that you want, depending on what you're trying to do. These are probably a 25-pound just copy paper, I believe. So these are the ones I'll demonstrate on. So the first step is I usually pick out 2 acrylic paint colors. So I believe these are the 2 that I used for this one. I don't have my green here, but I use 2 colors on each. You can use what's called a brayer. So you'll just I squeeze out some dots onto the page and I just roll it out and make sure there's, full coverage. Or you can use a paintbrush and paint the first coat on. You can use multiple colors as your base coat. It's entirely up to you. I generally stick to 2 colors because I want contrast with the color I'm using as my stencil. So, all right. I will do one on this one first. So the supplies that I use for stenciling, I prefer these paints. You can get acrylic paints anywhere, most likely Walmart, the main craft stores. I like these ones because they have a thicker consistency, which for me make it easier to stencil with. Does not mean you have to use this brand, but I found that some of the cheaper ones are watery and more difficult to stencil with. So since I used a blue as a main background, I like to use a contrasting color for my stenciling. So I usually use a white or black. That's just my personal preference. And then I set up like a dipping card. So I'm going to do black, I think, first. Yeah, we'll do black first. I just put, a dot there. I like to use a larger dipping area. I'll show you why in a second. But then I use these makeup sponges as blenders. That's what I stencil with. You can get any shape or size. They usually come in big bags. I think at Walmart or pharmacies. And then the next thing you'll need are just the stencils of your choice. So I'm going to try to demonstrate the one that I already showed you, which is, let me grab it. Just for reference, I was going to try to do something like this for today, but you can use any stencils that you want. Okay. All right. So there's 2 types that I do generally. I either do a bunch of images of birds, butterflies, insects, florals. It's probably hard to see on camera. Or let me show you. Which you can honestly do this, however, this is just my method. Or I do like, what are these? Can't think of the word, but, oops. It can be used for texture too, but I guess just random shapes. Doesn't mean they can't be mixed, but that's just my method of madness. I usually start with doing the larger images first onto the page before I start adding in detail. So I just pick a spot depending on, if I wanted this to be a journal cover, hypothetically, I would want to offset some of this stuff so it's going off the page just because it gives it more of a natural look. So I take my little makeup sponge, I dip it in the paint. That's why I like a larger spot. I like to stencil without having it be chunky and bleed into the lines. After I get the paint, I blot it off to have it just be almost dry on the sponge. And then I just blot. And then I grab a little bit more, blot the extra paint off. This black might not be very profound on this blue background, but we'll see. Stenciling and acrylic paints for me is just trial and error. You can always paint over something that you don't really care for or didn't turn out the way you wanted. I've done that before. Let's see. Make sure I got into all the spaces. All right, let's see. All right, that one turned out fairly good. Got a little bleeding, but I'm okay with that. So I can't really stencil anywhere near this one right now because it's wet. So I might go, I gotta move my paint. I could probably go over to this corner and do one. Let's see. This, I have a little bit too much paint on here. It might not be good. We'll see. More paint is not ever good because that just causes it to bleed. I have to dab a lot of it off. All right, let's see here. Okay, let's see. All right. I like it, I like it. So I'm gonna turn it around because I can't work over there right now that it's wet. I might add some, I'm gonna do some ferns coming into it. So I'll do some ferns over here. I move my black paint. Get a new card. Set that off to the side. Oops. Okay. Hopefully you can see this. Now again, I have my stencil kind of off the page just to give it a more natural coming into the page look. Okay. All right. Let's see. I don't know how well white's gonna do on here, but we'll see. It's all trial and error. Now you don't have to tape your stencils down. I've been asked that. I don't. I do it exactly like this. Taping it may be helpful. All right. I'm gonna do another fern. Let's see. I have this one that I like too. Maybe I'll do this one coming in to the top. And then after I do this one, oops, I lost my white. There it is. I have to let this layer dry basically until I can do anything else because there's paint in both corners. It'd be difficult. Oh, I just got way too much paint on there. I wasn't paying attention. I'm talking. Let's see how that turned out. I have a feeling this one might have bled. Let's see. It's okay. It's a little bit chunky, but I don't mind it. That's the thing. Even if you're stenciling, see I got white down here. It doesn't matter. Because I'll show you again, in the end, they're so busy that mistakes don't matter, in my opinion. I mean, you know, this one bled a little bit. It's so busy. If you're into this look, which obviously I am, I like a lot going on. Because if you take, let's see, something like this, how it's super busy, but you fold it and you envision it as a journal cover if you are into the, you know, paints and this look. It's awesome. Clip the corners. So the mistakes don't stand out. So don't be hard on yourself if you're like, you know, just keep going. All right, so for that one, I'm going to let that one, I'm going to put it aside and let it dry because there's nowhere I can work on it now. Okay. This one could be used for a small journal cover. I'm going to do, let's see what colors would be good for this one. This one I will use, let's see here. What do I want to do? Decisions. Okay. I like this one a lot. I will do corners with this one. Let's see. Oh, I got black paint on it. Yeah, it's definitely a messy thing, but it's fun. I usually have multiple going at once because of the dry time in between. I have so many in my garage that are all in different stages. Because as I'm drying one, I'm doing another layer on the next one, stamping one, you know, stenciling over another stencil. These are Posca markers, which if you're familiar with those, they're amazing. If not, I'll be showing you what I do with them. You do a lot of fill-in and doodling. All right. Let's see if I can get this one down. It's always a victory when it goes down and there's not a mistake or a blur. Little victory. Okay. I find a lot of stencils too at thrift stores. I always see them there. And don't judge them if they're not that fun, because when they're mixed in with other stuff, they look awesome. Almost any stencil can be like made to look really cool. I just love these ones. I have a set of these, of different ones, probably 10 or 12. That they're not washable, so they're kind of, I guess, almost disposable. So I was using texture paste on this one, but I learned that I cannot do that because once it clumps up, this thing I have to throw out because I cannot clean it because it's paper. So that's a little side note. Yeah, I'm getting that. Oh, I got a little black paint on there. Oh well. So there's lots of layers you can do. I'm going to show you in some other videos because these have to dry. You can add stamping. You can add texture paste, Posca markers, alcohol ink markers. I'm trying to think. It's truly endless. Gesso, clear gesso. You can add some white gesso to blend. Lots of ways. All right. I got bleeding a little bit there, but... Okay, for that one, let's see here. I've got this awesome stencil that's cursive, which I did on, oops, let's see. This one as a final layer. I'm not going to do that one yet because this thing is not ready for that. Let's see. Where did that stencil go? Might be able to do some, what color would be good here? This background's a little busy for colors. Maybe I'll do blue. Blue will stand out. I do love using golds and coppers, but I don't know that it'd show up very well on this. So let's see what this turns out. And this is just kind of go messy on it and see what happens. Well, it doesn't show up a whole lot, but as the second layer, it would be okay because it would be in the background, adding some busyness to it. I don't mind it. All right. Okay, let's do some gold. Let's see. Let's see here. That's so light, I could probably do this over it a little bit. It's okay if it comes out real light because it just adds like dimension to it, I guess. I'm not sure if that's the word, but you know, add some, what's the word? I don't know, but busyness in the background. I know there's a word for it, I just can't think of it at the moment. Hard, probably can't see it on camera, but all right, so I could probably let this one dry. Yeah, this one might be dry enough to come back to. It looks like it is. Okay, so this one, probably going to add another butterfly in the middle. This one be a butterfly theme. Get this out of my way. This desk doesn't give me a lot of room. I paint in my garage where I can spread out and get paint everywhere. So it's hard to do it on camera in this little area without making a total mess. But yeah, so this is the first steps I do for my acrylic paint background papers. I just do one color, or I'm sorry, a mixed color on the bottom layer. I can't talk. And then I do a layer of stenciling and then a dry. And I'll do the other layers on another video. I think I'm going to add one right on the corner here. So I know it's just half a butterfly, but it does make sense once it's folded and used as a cover. I use most of mine as covers for journals or folios. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Oh. I think I'll do a little on the corner here and call it a day for this layer. That corner of the side. Okay. I don't mind one right here. Actually, I'm gonna do one more little one right here. It's gonna be tricky with that. Okay, move this stuff. Alright, so that would be, I guess, layer 1 and 2. Base coat and a first thing of stenciling. I wouldn't mind putting maybe one more fern here. Alright, let's do that. Or do we want this guy? Oh, I really like this guy. Okay, I'll do this guy. Just so it's kind of even. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that is layer 1 and 2 for these two. And then I will do the next video once these are all dried and show you how I do my next layer. Thank you so much for watching. See you later.